Hey guys, I am back with another Infinity Battle Report. I do apologize for the long delay between the last video I did and this one. As some people may or may not know from reading my blog, I actually got into a motorcycle accident and ended up breaking my ankle, which made it very, very difficult to do pretty much anything, including playing Infinity. So that's kind of resolving itself now, and I was actually able to get out this weekend and play one game. I was hoping to play two, but plans fell through. So this is going to be obviously the battle report for that game. Just going into it, I think I've played one or two games of Infinity over like the last 2 months, something like that. So I'm very rusty. I haven't really been putting much time into looking at the game and things like that because I had other personal things to focus on, and been playing some other games and things like that that didn't require me to be able to leave the house and all that good stuff. So I went into this game kind of expecting it to be a little sloppier on my part than perhaps I was getting towards when I was playing more regularly a few months ago. So just bear that in mind. I'll go over all that kind of stuff during the game. Also, I'm going to be trying to switch up a few things with the battle reports. So let me know if you guys, if you like it, what you don't like. I have a microphone now, so that sounds pretty good to me, but obviously you guys are kind of the final judge. I'm going to be doing some more things with music, going to be adding a webcam in. And then the biggest thing is I'm not going to do my post-game comments in one video anymore. So I'll have two videos per battle report. Basically, one is just going to be the actual battle report itself, which is the one that you're watching now, and then I'm also going to have a companion video where I can talk a little bit more at length about things that happened during the game and all that kind of stuff without bogging the actual video down. So if you're just someone that wants to, watch the battle report real quick and figure out what happened in the game, that's cool. This will be the video for you. But if you want to listen to my thoughts, maybe give some feedback on the game and things like that, then you'll probably want to watch both videos at some point. So with that, I'll get into the game proper here. All right, so here we are into the game proper. For this match, decided to use supplies as the mission. I think I've played supplies one time before this, but it is one of the missions that's in a packet for a larger regional tournament that's coming up for the people that play in my meta. So that's what my opponent wanted to use. I'm trying to focus on the missions that are in the LVO packet, the Las Vegas Open, as I'll be attending that event next month, I believe. It's in late February, so if you'll be there, feel free to say hi. But I was just happy to get a game in, so I wasn't going to squabble over what mission we played or anything like that. Table was fairly standard. The only thing that I probably wouldn't set up is that there are two sniper towers, one in each deployment zone, so it is, I guess, fair that both players have access to one, but certain armies and builds and things like that use sniper towers much more effectively than others. And I also always kind of feel like that sort of line of fire advantage is something that armies should fight over rather than just have access to straight from deployment, unless you have infiltration or something like that. That's different. But other than that, nothing too spectacular about the table. Other than that, there is a couple wide lines of fire, but that happens on a lot of tables, so nothing too crazy. I won the lieutenant role and decided to go first. Supplies seemed like a mission where going first is good, and I'm also someone that usually prefers to go second. I'm much more of a reactive defensive player, so kind of wanted to get out of my comfort zone for that. So decided to take first. My opponent Bill, of course, decided to deploy second and just grabbed the table edge he was already staying on because we're playing a more casual game. So here you can see the beginnings of my deployment. I have my HVT right here. Pretty defensible location. It's not super easy to get within 8 inches of her without me at least being able to see or anything like that, and that's primarily what I was worried about. And then we also have like right around here the Gaurel, the Sukiel, and the McCall triad. So my main offensive triad, Spare McCall, is back here. My Kamel triad is up on this walkway, pretty much all prone. I don't really want them to have that much of a role in the game. Because there's not really anything spectacular for them to do, and I just kind of want their orders to be maintained. And then moving left, we have just Chaxa right here. This is the one that's in group 2, I believe, so I think I put a token down at some point to help me remember that. And then across the middle, we have the Rasail boarding team right there with per Chaxa. And then we also have my coattail right here. I'm using a Calypsos sniper model because I'm using Hollow Echo 1 on deployment to pretend he's Lemuet. That's really the only thing that you can use a coattail to pretend to be. And give him a Symbiomate, because if you pretend to be like a Chaxa or a Kamale or something like that, that it's reasonable that you would have 3 of that are close together. It's pretty obvious when one of them has a Symbiomate that something weird is going on there. So that's just my my go-to for, you know, pretending that my coattail is something else on turn 1. Moving over here, you can see the stuff in the middle that I was talking about a little bit more. I just have some more baggage Chaxas down along the bottom. Just, you know, in case there's any airborne deployment or anything like that. Not super likely when playing against TAC, but it's just kind of my standard deployment. Actually, probably not something I should have gone for this game, just because Ariadne has so much camo that having at least 1 or 2 of the Chaxas a little bit more forward would have made it so that I can get a sensor closer to the front lines with less orders. So that's something I just need to bear in mind as I play against Ariadne more and more. And then I have a Krakot Renegade right here. He rolled up 6-4 movement and super jump, which is totally fine with me. So I was pretty happy with that. And then I have my Libertos, or my Liberto right here, and then his mine is right up there, just because I don't know if I actually have a good picture of this or not. Yeah, you can see better in this one. So the mine is camo token 2, and the Liberto is camo token 1. Ideally, I would be able to see to the side of the console that's right here with both of them, but just because of the angle and things like that, I really couldn't, and I couldn't forward deploy far enough to like get up to this corner or something like that would be a little bit more useful. So I decided I'm playing against Ariadne. They have bad armor on, you know, pretty much everything, so I would rather have the mine get the site than the Liberto with, you know, his chain cult and his shotgun and all that kind of stuff. And then once the mine is used, I can always reposition him more forward if I need to. And then kind of my overarching strategy, if we go back to like a wider shot of the table, is I'm interested in this tech coffin and this tech coffin. I'm not interested in the one to my far left. What I am interested in doing is making it look like I don't have much resistance there, because all I have is the Liberto and kind of the Krakot, but I'm also going to put my Calypsos somewhere in the area. So I actually have more defenses than it looks like. I have 2 people with mines, so it's a little bit better than it kind of looks on the board. And I find my lists play better when I only focus on like 2/3 of the table instead of the entire table. Some mistakes in deployment would be leaving guys that they can be seen before they move when I'm going first. So like the Krakot is a big one. He can be seen kind of like from this way. The coattail, who's pretending to be Lemuet, is somewhat in that position. He could be seen from a very high sniper tower that's in the other deployment zone, but other than that, he's not too unsafe. But there's just really no reason to deploy anybody to be able to be seen when you're going first, because then things can get pinned down and stuff, which is actually what'll happen as we'll see in a little bit here. All right, and then here's just a wider view of the table. You can kind of see where everything's going and all that fun stuff. The only thing I really did with any of the Kael'tars is this guy is just, he's prone, but he's hanging out a little bit so that he can see pretty much into the middle right there, just so that I have a flash pulse and, you know, all that stuff in case somebody tries to, you know, go and pick up the box or something like that, and then I can flash pulse them maybe if they fail, and then, you know, that could throw a wrench into my opponent's plans. Yeah, so other than that, I'm more preparing to kind of rush, but I have some, you know, defensive pieces. All right, so we'll go over to the TAC deployment. You can see that this is a really big sniper tower. That's the one that was in the other deployment zone like I was talking about. So there's a camo token up there, and then there's another camo token on the bridge near it. So right off the bat, I'm either thinking that there's ambush camo, which is likely because of TAC, there's a mine layer, which is possible, or there's just 2 different models. My feeling was that I've had people fake putting something in a sniper tower before that either was a mine or was an ambush camo or something like that. But I know that TAC have a couple guys that are reasonable snipers, so it felt like I needed to respect that camo token and treat it like an actual sniper. We also have the 5-man fire team core in the building. The colonel, I forget his name, is hanging out in the back with I think one of the more like regular dudes, and then the HMG is right here, and then I believe this is the paramedic, and I don't remember what this guy is, maybe like an FO or something, but in any case, quite a bit of models in and around that building. And then there's a camo token prone behind this little barrier in the front, as you can see, and then we have the HVT right here for the TAC army. All right, moving over, we have both of the Dynamos who are in a duo, and both of the Irmandinos just kind of hiding behind a building in the middle. Since the Irmandinos are extremely impetuous and I'm going first, I can definitely get something in a position where when they run out, I can at least try to see one of them. So, you know, they can do a smoke dodge or regular dodge or whatever, but I'll at least try to get some shots on them and might be able to pick up a free kill there. And then on my right side, so my opponent's left, we have a camo token here, here, and here. There might be another one, but definitely quite a few camo tokens there. Yeah, here's another shot of it. So there's actually 4 camo tokens. So boop, 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 and boop. So I'm not thinking that all of these are actually models. One of them is probably either ambush camo or a mine or something like that. But that's just something I'm gonna have to figure out as I go through the game. And then that's just a shot of the HVT just to make sure that it can be seen. Okay, so we're going into my turn 1. Of course, my big combat group got reduced by 2 orders, so I only have 8 orders to work with, and then 4 or 5 in the second group, depending on how things work out and all that kind of stuff. So the rightmost tech coffin is the easiest one for me to get. My best triad is right there, so I just start pushing orders into them, walking up a little bit. Oh, actually, let me backtrack just a little bit. So the spare McCall I have is extremely impetuous, so he just moves out and he just threw an Eclipse grenade, so they didn't have to run out too far. I'm kind of using him to be where the other McCall isn't, so I don't want him to die or anything. So, you know, for the first turn, he just kind of throws a smoke grenade and screws off. The Kraka I don't actually do anything with because of how I deployed him. He can be seen by the HMG for the fire team. So if I try to like move him behind, you know, in hill cover or something like that, almost certainly going to get killed. So that's just something I kind of have in the back of my mind. Poor deployment by me, but we'll deal with that moving forward. So going back over to here, like I said, just walking forward with the triad. I had the Galrel as the leader on the approach, just in case any of the camo tokens decided to ARO me. I want my guy with MSV in position to, you know, deal with those threats. But they just all declared idols and all that kind of stuff, which didn't give me that much of a read because, you know, they could still be pretty much anything. It could be that they have, you know, shorter range guns or something like that, but it didn't seem like they were in a hurry to come out and play. So eventually I get up there with the Sukiel, as you can see in this picture. He takes over as the triad leader, pushes the button, grabs the box, and away we go on that. So that was a pretty easy to execute scenario move there. I jumped over to combat group 2 here and used the lieutenant order and I think maybe 1 or 2 other orders just to get the Rasail and his Traxa into position. It is worth mentioning that in my meta we play like tech coffins and antennas, all that stuff as silhouette 5 instead of silhouette 3, which I think is what they're supposed to be. I don't remember. I don't really like that house rule, and I'll probably be asking people not to use it in the future, especially because I'm going to try to travel this year and things like that, and I don't think that's a very common rule. But it's worth remembering because people can approach objectives without being shot easier when they're that size. So my positioning here is I just have the Rasail. I throw him into suppressive, which might, you know, get me one of the Irmandinos that I was talking about earlier. And then I also have the Traxa up there just ready to, you know, heavy flamethrower or anything that gets really close. There's only one real advance, which is, you know, if you come like this way on, then the Traxa won't be able to see you, but anything coming from like my left or the far right or anything like that is probably going to get flamed. So that felt like a pretty decent defensive position. And then over here, so at this point, I have one of the boxes with the Sukiel, and I'm not real sure what else to do. This list is not meant for supplies, and bear in mind I have not played in a while. So one of the major things that I just forgot is that in this list, my coattail is a forward observer, so he could go and push the tech coffin button, which I just didn't do. I just forgot that he was a specialist in this list, which is totally on me. Like I said, very rusty. So instead of going and like grabbing the middle box or the one on the left or whatever, none of them are really that defended. I just kind of dedicate my orders to repositioning a lot of stuff. So the first thing I do is I put some orders into the spare McCall. He runs over, whiffs 2 smoke grenades, but lands the 3rd one so that I can extract the Krakot without him being killed by the HMG, because I just don't feel like giving up free models for no reason. And he's fairly useful, being 6'4" movement, super jump. He can go chase down people, things like that. So I eventually get him out, and then I move the coattail and some kinds of things more towards that building that you can see, because there were sails on the right there, so you can kind of get a feeling for where everything is at this point. Because again, remember that I forgot that one of my guys was a specialist. I don't really have the specialist, so I thought at the time, to go get any of their tech coffins. So I'm more on a defensive game plan. So I'm just trying to get things a little forward. I have fast guys, so even though the TAC army is going to come and try to get those other 2 tech coffins, I'm hoping that I can either stop them, or they can't get so far away that I can't chase down who has it and remove them. And then just again, like some last orders. I take this Traxa in group 2 because I don't really have anything to do with any of the group 2 models, and I just push them up the board a little bit more. I couldn't do much offensively on the right hand side with those camo tokens, because I did try to discover one with a Gaurel, but I failed. So I was really wishing that I had the Traxa forward so I could censor, because like I said, one of them could be a mine, could be ambush camo. I don't really know. I don't know TAC that well because I don't play them, and they're still pretty new. So I'm just pushing this guy up into a position where he's not really going to get shot by anything. For anybody to see him, they would have to like leave the little tower that Bill has his fire team core and all that kind of stuff, which I don't see happening, just to kill a baggage Traxa. So I just push him up the board a little bit, and then he can kind of help with the pistol under extreme duress if needed to guard the center tech coffin. But really, this is a play for future turns. All right, so we go over to TAC turn 1. The Ermendinos run out for being impetuous. I know they have booty. One of them got a light shotgun, and one of them got an X-Visor. I don't remember which one got which. Neither came up in the game, but that was rolled for. So this Ermendino comes out. I believe the closest model to him was the Traxa that's G-Sync to the Rasail. So he just kind of run towards that a little bit. And then what actually happens is my Rasail can see him as he comes out. I arrow shoot because I'm in suppressive, and then he tries to smoke dodge but manages to fail the smoke dodge because of the suppressive fire modifier. We looked it up on my phone really quick, and it just said there's a -3 mod to anything. Doesn't matter as long as you're in a face-to-face roll, which we are. So whiffs the grenade. I hit him a couple times with the viral combi, and the Ermendino explodes, as is very likely to happen. So that guy ended up actually going down, so I got a kill there. This other Ermendino comes out. Sorry for the little bit of a blurry photo. It looks like my focus got screwed up. But I can't see him. The Rasail is just a little shy, so that's something I should have maybe spent a little more time looking at with the laser and all that kind of stuff to make sure that I could cover both sides. Because then I could have picked up another kill, but couldn't see him. I don't think anybody could see him, actually, because the Traxa wasn't poked out far enough either. So he just throws a smoke grenade, which is the thing you see in the foreground there. All right, so some more orders go into the Ermendino. He throws another smoke grenade, as you can see, just totally smoking up the center tech coffin, which is my mistake for not asking who in the list had smoke grenades or eclipse grenades or anything like that. I actually have a pre-game checklist that I wrote for myself just to ask questions for. Again, very rusty, so I didn't go through all that stuff. So I ended up actually getting caught with my pants down a little bit, where the center objective is just totally smoked up, and I can't really stop anything from going up and pushing the button and then running away, because my Gaurel isn't there or anything like that, who would be totally shutting all of this down. But like I said, there are gonna be a lot of misplays this game because I'm not playing in so long. So buckle up. The camo token, as you can see on the right there, also just gets an order and double moves forward. To be near the coffin, which I didn't really understand because the Ermendino is a specialist as far as I remember. I'm looking over the list right now real quick. Where are you, Ermendino? Oh my gosh. Oh no, they're not specialists. I thought they were engineers. Oh, they are engineers. Okay, yeah, so they are engineers. So I don't know why the other thing came forward because I'm assuming that that's also a specialist. But unless it's really high whip compared to the Ermendino, I don't see why you would put orders into both. But whatever. So it's actually okay. Yeah, so we'll go back to this real quick. So what ends up happening, I didn't get pictures of some things, my apologies, is that the Ermendino gets another order, moves up to the tech coffin, gets another order, tries to push the button and walk 4 inches back, fails to push the button, but has to go the 4 inches back still, and then the camo token walks up, does the same thing, actually manages to grab the supply box and reveals that it's a Strelok with I think a boarding shotgun or something like that. So I know what's going on over there, and I think that also gets rid of one of the camo tokens because they have ambush camo as far as I remember. So a few orders wasted getting those smokes down, and well, not wasted, but had to be expended getting the smokes down and moving a couple models forward. So even though I gave up the box, it was somewhat order intensive to grab that one. Going over here, a camo token again starts moving over to get line of fire on the Sukiel. I just removed the bridge really quickly so I can get better pictures. And then surprise shots me, reveals that it's another Strelok, also with a boarding shotgun. So obviously just trying to take out my Sukiel and either grab the box or make it so that I have to have somebody else grab it. This is a weird engagement because I have cover, I have mimetism, so I'm negating the +6 for the shotgun, so the Strelok is on 11s as far as I remember, and then I am getting surprise shot, and I was able to shoot him before he hit cover, because when you declare an attack with a camo model, you get revealed the entire way. So I'm on 10s because I was plus for range, minus for surprise shot, minus for camo. Yeah, so I'm on 10. So it's 2 dice again on 10s for me against 2 dice on 11s for the Strelok. But I have multiple wounds and a Symbiont, so very, very dicey engagement there. And then what ends up happening is I win the first one, but the Strelok makes the armor save even without cover, fails guts, moves back, and then just shoots me again, manages to land a crit, which is, of course, if you play Tohaa, the worst thing. So loses my Symbiont, go to Symbio inactive. But I think the group that the Strelok was in was running low on orders at this point, so he doesn't, my opponent doesn't take more engagements there and just kind of leaves the Strelok to pin me down a little bit. As we can see over here, the Strelok with the box, as indicated by the token, just gets another order or two and tries to run back as far as he can, but he's 4/4, so not particularly fast, and only gets to that location. All right, and then coming to the close of the turn here, the camo token that was prone behind this barrier moves forward and bases the tech coffin. I asked my opponent if the mine could see it on the approach, and we didn't think that it could. But then what happened is that the camo token revealed, and revealed to be Pavel, who's a specialist operative. He managed to push the button and then was starting to move away. I took another look at the line of fire, and it was actually very clear that my mine could see Pavel. So we rewind the game a little bit because it's a mandatory effect that the mine go off. It's not something we have a choice in. And then Pavel ends up getting killed by the mine, which is a super good trade for me because Pavel's pretty expensive and I just used a mine. So that ended up with him not getting the supply box and being down a model. So that's obviously pretty good for me. I don't remember what this shot was for, so we'll just skip it. And then with the last couple orders, the Ermendino, who was throwing smokes in the center, decides to walk up and have a go at the tech coffin, grabs it because my mine is gone. I don't have anyone that can see him, like I talked about in deployment. So he just grabs the box and then pulls back a little bit, hugging the HVT so that I can't, easily get him with like the Krakod or something like that will use a template weapon. Makes my shot a little bit harder. So didn't really manage to get anywhere with the supply box, but he does have it. All right, so we're going to go over to my turn 2 here now. My first thing is that I need to protect the supply box that I have before I can really go after the ones that the TAC army has. So now I'm pretty much there's no more threats on the right hand side. 2 of those camo tokens were ambush camo for the Strelok, so now that they've both been revealed, that's gone. The only thing that can really reinforce on that side is the dynamos, which might have other things to do. I'm not real sure. So I just need to kill the Strelok that's over there and then try to defend the Sukiel as best I can, especially since he's down to his last wound. So I can't activate the Triad because if I do so, he'll just get a free shot with the shotgun onto the Sukiel. If I were to take a fight there, it's not very good odds since I don't have mimetism anymore, and now he has cover and all that kind of good stuff. And then even if I bring the Galro forward, the McCall or something like that, he's just going to shoot the Sukiel, probably kill it, and then he got what he wanted anyways. So what I end up doing instead is using the Spare McCall, who's extremely impetuous still, to kind of move a little bit, and then he throws a smoke grenade, and I believe I gave him another order and threw another one just so that the Chaksa can cross the gap in the middle safely, because as he would cross, the camo token in the sniper tower would be able to see him. And actually, as part of the McCall's order, the camo token in the sniper tower can see him and then reveals that it's Vasily with a sniper rifle. And then I smoke dodge and I managed to win that face-to-face roll. So I do know that in the sniper tower is an actual model, which I figured, but fortunately didn't lose anything to it yet. So long story short, get the smokes down, move the Chaksa that I advanced a little bit last turn forward, and then I put a flamethrower into the Strelok. Now I think I have 4 shots at this, because I can't use the Calypsos' order, but I could convert the Liberto if I need to. The Strelok just chooses to dodge in place, which is definitely the right choice, because his whole existence is just trying to stand there and be annoying with the shotgun. But fortunately fails the dodge roll and just burns to death with his poor armor. So managed to kind of eliminate everything on the right-hand side over there as far as resistance goes, and now my Sukiel is much safer. Okay, so at this point, I want to start removing some of the supply box holders. So I tap my Spare McCall again. He moves back a little bit and then throws a smoke here, as you can see on the left-hand side. Again, just because there's so many models in that building that's kind of like on the left-hand side of the table for me, that anything that crosses on my army is just going to get obliterated. It's going to get shot by like 4 models and it's never going to make it. So I have to throw the smoke there. And then I take the Rasail and his buddy, and they move over. The Strelok is being seen by both the Chaksa and the Rasail, so that's always a bad place to be. I think he tries to shoot back at the Rasail or dodge or something like that, but the Rasail ends up killing him as he hits him 3 times with the viral combi. Strelok is melted into a million pieces, and then the box drops there. So the box is not controlled anymore, but it is right by where both of the dynamos are, which is problematic because they're so fast that they can just pick it up, and then if I don't kill them on the pickup, they're just going to zoom away and I'll probably never catch them. So to that end, I decide to make a little bit of a push play. With my last order for group 2, I walk the Rasail forward a little bit, but he's not going to be able to play any part of this. But I walk the Chaksa as far forward as he can, because the Rasail's is a 6-4 move instead of a 4-4 move, and just barely managed to get line of sight on both of the dynamos. So the one in the back here, this one, the X on it, chooses just to dodge in place, and then the one that was here, spoilers, chooses to shoot the Chaksa with, I think they have like a rifle or something like that. So the one in the back actually makes the dodge, even with the -3 for being a motorcycle, so he doesn't take any flame stuff, but the other one not only misses the shot on the Chaksa, but then also burns to death from the heavy flamethrower. So I managed to get one of the dynamos down. Doesn't completely end the threat, but it's going to be hard for him to go up and pick up the box, because motorcycles don't dodge very well, and even if we get into a firefight, I don't care if the Chaksa dies as long as it burns the bike to death. So it's going to be hard for the TAC army to go and grab that box as the board state is now, which is exactly what I wanted and needed. And then going back to group 1, I'm repositioning some stuff. So I kind of bring the McCall a little more forward. As you can see here, I have the coattail here with his hollow echo markers. I believe he... Yeah, I think I don't remember why I revealed him, to be honest, but he's revealed at this point, so it's all, I think he tried like a combi rifle shot at something or something like that at some point, but he's up there as well. And then the Rasail just moved to the position you can see it at, so it is prone, which means that nothing can see the Rasail except for Vasily, which is not ideal, because I believe Vasily has a T2 sniper rifle. Yeah, so if Vasily gets orders pumped into him, he'll kill the Rasail, but there's not that many orders in his pool anymore. He would have to be moved into group 1 and that kind of stuff. So I kind of just, it was kind of what it is. The Rasail already did its job a little bit, so if it absorbs some orders getting shot by the sniper and all that kind of stuff, it's not the end of the world, but it's also not the best, possible position that I could have had for the model. And then, I think this was a really out of order photo. But so what, let's go back a little bit. Okay. So I have this smoke here that, like I said, I needed to be able to cross this gap. The problem is, I wanted to kill both of the things with the supply box, so I make a big order of operations error here. I could have moved my Gaurel, who's kind of like over here off screen, but I could have moved him up to this corner, and then he can shoot across and into the Ermendino, who has the other supply box. Ermendino can't smoke dodge because I have MSV2, so all he can do is regular dodge, but I have burst 5, and then it would take him a couple dodges to be able to round any kind of corner or anything like that. And then even if he does, I can reveal the Calypso or move the Liberto forward and try to shoot him with those as well. But unfortunately, I threw the smoke first, and because it's a clip smoke, I can't see through it. So that was a really big mistake on the turn for me. Yeah, so that's pretty much where everything. I think this was an out of order photo, so ignore it. But that's pretty much where everything ends on my turn too. So I got one of the boxes dropped, and I killed a couple models. Managed to get my Sukiel pretty safe, but not as much as I wanted to do. So we go over to TAC turn 2, and being kind of out of most of the forward elements. Bill's looking at moving the fire team core. So I'm going to jump back. I'm sorry. This is kind of late here. I'm a little tired. But what happens is at the start of the turn, the Ermendino is, of course, extremely impetuous. Bill chooses not to cancel the order and instead runs at the closest model, which I believe is the McCall. Now, looking at this, I'm pretty sure he made a mistake with how it moved, because it would have had to been like here to be as close as possible, not back here. But he also may have given it another order and moved it out there, just because the Ermendino is probably not going to get anywhere without dying. So it would be best for it to die into an advantageous position where the box can be picked up again by the TAC army from it being close to their lines. So that's actually what happens here, is that it runs out. The Rasail can't see it because he's prone, and then the coattail can't see it because I stupidly didn't leave a small gap past the McCall's base where he could see, but the McCall manages to kill it with its flamethrower, and I think the Ermendino tried to dodge or shoot me or something like that. I can't remember, but in any case, the Ermendino dies and the box gets dropped there. All right, so now we go over to here. The fire team starts getting orders, and it moves out. As the APHMG is moving away, I reveal the Calypsos in the position there, as you can see, and just take a free shot as he's running away. Don't manage to hit with it though, so nothing really happens there, but at least I have it on the board now, so I can start benefiting from its order. And then this is just a shot of the fire team moving out and all that kind of stuff. So the HMG is the leader pretty much the whole time that they're moving, and it gets into a face-to-face roll with the McCall. I try to throw a smoke to probably like here-ish or something, but of course lose the face-to-face. HMG and a 5-man link, very, very unlikely that I'm going to win that. And then McCall gets obliterated. And then I think we have a couple face-to-face rolls between myself and the Coattail. So again, this was a problem with my positioning because the Coattail could have tried to, throw a combi rifle shot in there when the McCall was originally being shot at, which might have changed the outcome of the face-to-face if burst was split or something like that. Who knows? But I lose the first one. Symbiont mate goes away. I lose the second one. I'm just trying to dodge prone so that I can't be seen anymore. And I lose that one as well. End up getting hit twice, but make one of the saves, fail one of the saves. So the Coattail is still alive and just fails guts prone so that he can't be seen anymore. So luckily enough, I made it through with that model. And then the fire team just keeps on moving. They're pretty much occupying the center of the board, which is where both of the drop supply boxes are, so that in the future it's much easier for the TAC army to grab them as opposed to me. So this is kind of the final resting position of the APHMG. Has a nice line of fire to my Rasail here, which, I mean, there wasn't that much I could do about, unfortunately. And we have a couple of face-to-face rolls again, and then the Rasail ends up dying. I burned through the Symbiont mate, of course. Again, I'm just trying to dodge a little bit over while staying prone so I can't be seen anymore. But, I wasn't suppressive, so I didn't really have any other good options. So I lose a Symbiont mate, and then I get hit, I believe, 4 times on the second face-to-face roll. So if I tank 2 of them, at least, the Rasail can just fail guts and survive, but I only passed one of the arm saves, and the Rasail goes unconscious. So definitely a bit of a loss there, because if I'd been able to keep him, probably could have been doing some slicing the pie or something like that. And then, of course, Viral is extremely good against basically any Ariadna army. And yep, there you can see the final position of the Coattail and the dead Rasail. All right, so I believe this is now over to my turn 3. So my plan here is, even though I have 1 box to 0, it's very obvious that Bill's going to grab both of them on his turn. So I have to do as much as I can to either stop that, or I have to run and try to get them myself. So looking over the board, it looked risky to me to try to grab at least one of them. I do have the Coattail still, but I would need probably a couple of smoke grenades to deliver him. So it's a little order inefficient. And then I don't know, I just, in the moment, I felt like there was a little too much that could go wrong. So I kind of opted for the more defensive play instead. So I drop a smoke right about here, as you can see, just so I can move out a little bit this way without being seen by, a million and one things. And then eventually I take a look at the Gaurel and notice that I can get a shot just onto the HMG. Not ordinarily something I would go for, because while it will break the team if I kill him, he's going to be very hard to get through, because HMG in a 5-man link, even on the reactive turn, is very scary to deal with. But at this point, Bill is out of command tokens, because he's done a couple coordinated orders to move things in the previous turn, like move things together. So he actually cannot reforge the link if I am to break it. And that was kind of my prize, because if I can break the team, then it'll be less efficient for him to move around and get the boxes. And if I can make it hard enough, that combination of having not that many orders left, having not that much efficiency left, and then my defensive things might just carry the game. So we get into a few face-to-face rolls here with the Gaurel and the APHMG. It takes me a few orders to get into the proper range band, where his pistol is out of good range and his HMG is in 0 band, and I also have cover. So we do a few face-to-faces where not too much happens. I end up losing the Symbiont mate in one of them. In another one, we crit each other, so we just bounce. But I end up eventually getting to the position that's shown in the picture, and then I actually land 2 crits in one roll on the HMG, so he's just obliterated. So it took more orders than I wanted to. I think all in all it was like 4 or 5, something like that, to get that done. But I did eventually get it done, even though it might not have been the best possible play. And then this is just a little bit better of a shot of where my McCall is and all that kind of stuff. You can see the Sukil still in the back there. I just moved the Liberto forward with his irregular order, because I don't really have anything to do with converting it. So I just kind of move him up there. He's not really going to play any part in the game, but I might as well use his order for something. And then so I have I think I have 3 command tokens at this point, because I had to reforge the Gaurel Triad as part of the dealing with the fire team, because I moved a little too far away from the Sukiel and it broke it, so I had to reforge it. But I started doing coordinated orders in group 2 to move the Krakot, the Chaxa, and the Calypso where I need them to be. So the Calypso does take a parting shot, as she was, like more towards back here, from Vasily, but he's at -6 overall because I had cover and Tio camo, and then he's in good range band. So I felt like I could just kind of tank it, but then I ended up actually declaring a dodge instead, because the Calypso was my spearhead, which was a good thing, because otherwise it would have hit and the Calypso would have almost certainly died. But I actually managed to win the face-to-face roll with the dodge, so the Calypso got to keep going, and then I'm just moving up here as you can see. So this is pretty much the final place for all the models. So I have the Krakot forward because he has chain rifle, and he can engage and all that kind of stuff if things get too close. So he's a good model to shut down anybody going for the left box. The Calypso drops 2 mines, so 1 here and 1 here. I wanted to get one farther so that it can see up to here, but I just did not have the movement with her to do that. So I basically have 2 mines covering this objective, which makes it almost impossible for Ariadne to pick up because they don't have anybody to like take a hit for it or anything like that. And like I said, there's going to be some order problems. So it's the best I could do. And then for this one, I have the McCall who's guarding it with his flamethrower, and then I wanted to have the Gaurel also like up here, up there, or something like that. But but because of his 4-2 movement, I just didn't have the orders to get him into place. So I'm not feeling super great about my defensive propositions on this supply box, but on this one, I'm feeling very good about it. And okay, so we go over to the last turn, TAC turn 3. Fire team is broken, and then I believe there was 7 orders on the board because we have a Dynamo, 4 guys from the fire team, Vasily, and then I think the guy with the dog turns his lieutenant order into a regular order, as far as I know. So yeah, 7 orders, something like that. The first one, and I don't have a lot of pictures of this, so my apologies, because this is a little bit tense ending to the game. But one of the fire team members rounds the corner over here and then chooses to shoot the McCall. I shoot back, and we end up killing each other. We both go unconscious. So that's one, the box defended, but now he's just gonna be able to walk into their model up and grab it with anybody because I don't have anybody who can see. Curiously, the paramedic comes forward and tries to pick up the guy who I just killed. I don't know why. I don't know if that was a misunderstanding of how the mission worked on Bill's part or what, but the paramedic just should have walked forward and grabbed the box himself because there's no benefit to getting the other guy up. Like, he doesn't need to kill anything or anything like that, so just leave him where he is. But the paramedic roll fails, the guy dies, and then the paramedic does what he should have done in the first place, walks forward, grabs the box. So now we each have one. So then the game comes down to this box, which is okay because I have a lot of defenses on it. So the Dynamo comes and gets into a face-to-face roll with the Krakot. The Krakot chooses to dodge because I'm not going to be in chain rifle range, and there's really nothing else to do. And I managed to win that face-to-face roll, so I just dodge prone where I can't be seen from far away, but as anything like, rounds the corner or whatever, then I'll definitely be able to see them and still help out on the defense. And then so that worked out. And then an order goes to the guy with the dog on his base, Colonel something, but crucially, he does not have enough movement to get past the big base of the Dynamo, so he actually gets stuck either being like back here behind the building or being up here for free, which means that I would get I would get to shoot him with a chain rifle and stuff, and that's no good. So just chooses to keep the guy in the back so the colonel doesn't come forward. And then I think at this point he only has like 1 order left or something. So the Dynamo actually does come down and grabs the box just kind of as a, hey, if I live, then, I pulled off the win. But the mines trigger and that kills him before I even get to the chain rifle and the combi rifle shot and all that kind of stuff. So we end the game. I have 1 box. Bill has 1 box. and then one is on the ground. So we each have 1 point for controlling a box. We don't get any points for anything else. I don't know what his classifieds were, but he didn't get any of them done, and he didn't have anybody close enough to my HVT to secure it. And then I think my Sukiel was also maybe within 8 inches of it, so that would have denied that. I believe I don't remember how secure it works off the top of my head, but I managed to get secure HVT with the Krakot because his is like right here or something. So I trade in one of my classified objectives for that. So I ended up gaining a 2-1 victory. My classifieds were the one where you have to use an FO on the HVT, and the one where you have to use an FO on an enemy model. So like I said, I forgot that the coattail was an FO for most of the game, so that kind of put me off of being able to, I felt like I could do that. And then I didn't really reveal the Calypso early to get that done. Also, every time I killed an enemy model, it would just die outright. It would never be unconscious until like the very last turn here at the bottom of 3. So I didn't have an easy way to just FO like a corpse basically. And there was never a position where I felt like the Sukio could just run out and try to make an FO roll against something that was going to shoot him back because he was my gift carrier and he was never really in a great position, all that kind of stuff. So I didn't really do a good job with my classifieds either, partially due to misremembering how my list worked. But in the end, I managed to get, like I said, a 2-1 victory. So definitely a very sloppy game for me, which I'll go into in the post-game thoughts video. But I managed to get the win nonetheless, and learn some stuff about TAC along the way, which is good because they're pretty cool army. I think they're very good at going second, probably one of the better armies I've seen, just because they can put down a lot of camo tokens with like ambush camo and stuff like that. It's very confusing to play against them. Obviously, if you play vanilla Ariadna or something like that, you can also put down a bunch of camo tokens. But since they're sectorial, they can still do fire teams and stuff, which gives you more order efficiency, which is very powerful. Like the Dynamos getting to be in a duo is really good in some missions. Obviously, his fire team core is not super expensive, but can do a lot of different stuff. So I think TAC is a very good, I don't want to say turtle army, but a pretty good defensive army. And then my list performed pretty good, although I didn't play it nearly up to how it should be played. Still struggling to figure out the best thing to do with the coattail a lot of the time. I kind of know what he's supposed to do, but in the middle of the game, I get distracted by other things and stuff like that. So I just need more games with him. I think I've only played him in 3 games so far. So I'll get better with him as I've been getting better with the Rasail slowly. And I'm still trying to get more stuff done with the Calypso. So this was a kind of a weird game for her. But overall, I really like the list. Again, this list was built for the Las Vegas Open tournament and is actually supposed to be played in Acquisition and Power Pack, which is 2 of the 5 missions in that one. So you'll probably see this list again as I'll be trying to get people to play those missions so that I can practice for an event that's coming up soon. But that's pretty much all I have this time. Like I said, there's going to be a second video that I don't know how long it'll be. We'll see, because I haven't recorded it yet, about the my thoughts of the actual game, what I could have done better, what my opponent could have done better, what we did well, things like that. So go ahead and check that out. It'll be on the pretty much upload at the exact same time. And let me know how you like that. I'll be back to posting more regular content, so let me know what you guys like and don't like, because I pretty much just do this since people seem to enjoy them. I'm more of a writer myself, but we're getting more into production and stuff like that. So definitely don't be shy with the comments. Thank you very much for watching.